So first thing we gonna do, like we always do, put a little toast up. Slim, you know what I'm saying? There's gonna be you the first artist we got, bruh. The first rap artist we got, bruh. And I wouldn't have had it with anybody else, bruh. So this to you.
God.
You know what I'm saying? New projects coming out and all the greatness. You know what I'm talking about? Let's get it. So we out here, y'all. Me, I'm Derek. You got a name?
You know what I'm saying? It's your boy Quan out here. You know,
Christ on the
Raekwon.
cross. Okay, well, we're back, guys. We are back for another episode. We got a really special one today. We stand kind of on this music narrative, but we're going to get a little deeper. We had a great conversation last time. Shout out to Way to the 8.
Shout out for real.
You know what I'm saying? They did their thing.
Good guys all around.
Super proud of everything they got going on over there with the podcast. Love them boys. But we're going to talk a little bit more specific with that conversation that we was getting into. You know, we're talking about music, talking about how it affects the culture. Why not go to the source that's both, you know, a listener but also a creator of music themselves? And we got one of South Carolina's finest. It's one of South Carolina's finest. Slim Dev in the building. Slim Dev.
What's good?
You know what I'm saying? Glad to have you on the show, brother.
Glad to be here, man.
Hey, look. So let's hop right in. Let's talk about first and foremost the new project. Congratulations on dropping the new project. Tell everybody, because you know it's we're gonna have a lot of eyes on this.
Focus the EP out right now. Everywhere, all platforms. It's on YouTube, it's on Apple Music, Spotify, all that. Just search up Slim Dev and it'll be there.
Yes, sir.
Hey, this what number out of products you done put out now? What is it? 3, 4?
Count, bro. I done lost count. I don't know, because I could count stuff that I done dropped like.
I'm just talking about like the stuff that's like on Apple Music, Spotify. What number is it?
Nah, that's what I'm saying. Like, as far as them, it's probably like, it's at least 4, 5, 6. Like, it's, I ain't pretty much got down to the, I ain't looked at it like that.
So okay. So let's look at it. I mean, I want to
Sheesh.
talk about it.
Let's look at it, man.
You know what I'm saying? Because I got everything. I'm pretty sure.
I got it on the alias.
Like, I probably listen to stuff a lot more before it even come out. So, you know, I ain't.
Oh, so yeah.
So we gonna go back. Let's start with.
Let's start
with 2020. That was a good. You know, that was one of the first drops, or one of the early drops. Would say East Side single.
Mm-hmm.
Then you come out of that. You had a couple in 2021. So you had the Hood Birthday. Different the EP. I like that EP. And then you come out of that, the Blue Hunters EP. Mm-hmm. Come out of that, Focus EP. And well, hold on, let me back up because I skipped the no features.
Big one.
Slim Reaper, no features. And I will argue no skips, but that's neither here nor there.
He said it, not me.
Hey, you had the Understand single that was on Slim Reaper, and then we go to Focus right now, right? Mm-hmm. And then Receiver is on Focus, right?
Mm-mm.
It's not?
Receiver ain't even on Focus.
Okay, so Receiver is a single by itself.
Yes.
See, the thing is, when I dropped Receiver, I wasn't planning on dropping the EP. I really went back and was like, because somebody said, they was like, nah. It was like, they was like, this hard? They was like, but you playing. Like, we know you playing. Like, you giving us. So I was like, nah, I ain't even gonna do it like that. I was like, I'm gonna give them 3 hard ones. So I gave them 3 hard ones like the next week. And that's really how Focus EP came up.
I ain't saying a week.
It's really like that. Apparently, it really like that.
A week.
And I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you at all. But I think one of the if y'all want to know one of the most unique significance about this episode amongst many, because there's so many, is God dog it. Okay, all right, I deserve that. Anyway, one of the most significant things about this episode, out of many things that are significant about this episode, is that Slim's music is our intro. That's what we intro to everything, all the clips, everything we cut up, we share with y'all. This is the sound behind that track that y'all bob y'all heads to every time y'all hear something.
Yes, sir.
And man, couldn't appreciate it more, bro. I love that song.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Where does that song is on Slim Reaper? What's the name of it? What's the name of the song?
Wrong.
Okay, and that's like the outro. That's like the last song, outro, right? Talk to me, like we can go lyric for lyric with it. But just before we get into the lyrics, just talk to me a little bit about where that song, what place was that song written from?
So really, the producer Chris made, he signed the Internet Money. So when I first off, when I got the beat, I was like, I really gotta I gotta lock in with this beat because of the producer. He got notoriety, whatever, people might hear it. More eyes might be on it. So I was like, I really gotta take it serious. So in the song, like when I heard the beat, I was like, this gotta be some pain, like almost telling a story, like. So I was really just like, basically it was like a story. Like I was really like in the beginning, like I know all the stuff that I done did wrong, like everybody done did wrong stuff, sin, whatever, how it is. But you know, like you can get past that and still, you know, get to wherever you going. So that was really the story I was trying to tell in the song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. And one of the lyrics that I posted one of the lyrics and tagged you in it a couple months back. But it was like lately I've been going through to change my whole perspective. Like if you change the world, try to leave yourself neglected. Brody, like how old are you, bro?
That was shit I'm going through and change my whole perspective. Like if you try to please the world, you leave yourself neglected.
Bruh.
Yeah. Thanks.
Whose 20-something mind is coming up with that bar, bro? That's like what was the go through at that moment when that bar come up, like that make you reflect there? Like what are some of the things that was coming to mind when you was talking that talk?
So basically what I'm saying is like people got their certain standards of you, like what they think you should do, what path they think you should take in life. So like me being a rapper, me trying to do all this, like everybody might not like that. Everybody might not view that as like a successful path. Like in the world now, it's so many rappers. Like it's hard to do that. Like it's hard to make music and actually, you know, make profit off of it and make it. So like people gonna talk down. People gonna be like, no, you need a real job. You need to focus on getting a real career. You need to do this, do that. But you know, like at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for you and what's gonna make you happy. So then I feel like that's chasing my dream, doing what I got to do.
And you know what I'm saying?
When I said that I would make it, no, they thought I was insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what he talking about right there. Come on now.
Hey, and it's crazy because you talk about, you know, the stuff that people go through. You just talk about, you know, what people expect of you, and even the industry and how it can kind of put expectations on you. And that was kind of the conversation we was having in the last episode with Way to the 8, man. It's just, you know, a lot of times the industry has so much so of an influence that it kind of take away from the creativity that is, you know, music and writing music more specifically. And I say that with the context and the fact of the matter that, bro, we in South Carolina, and it's just like, I'm not going to call it a music desert because I know better and I know everybody that's here. But for the mainstream ad agencies and all the PR and all of that, bro, it's just like we get skipped over. And like so what's your take on it? What's your take on it?
As far as South Carolina,
you can talk South Carolina, you can talk about the music industry and how that kind of like takes away from the creative process too.
So I feel like it definitely take away from the creative process as far as like what Young Thug going through, stuff like that. Like they definitely putting him on trial because of his lyrics and trying to use that as evidence in certain situations. So I feel like that's definitely making people kind of like cautious of what's going on. But as far as like breaking into the music industry, like with South Carolina, like, and us not getting the type of advertising and stuff, I think that's like, I don't know, I think it's like really South Carolina mindset. Like I think it's some people who are big enough to be mainstream, but they just like, they really stay in South Carolina. Like it may not be no bigger they can get in South Carolina. So I feel like they should really try to, you know, expand themselves and then put South Carolina on. And then I feel like in some circumstances, it may be people who are big enough, like outside of South Carolina, that made it from South Carolina and that got to wherever they got, but they so deep in the industry that now they helping promote people from other states or whatever when it's a bunch of talent in our state. So, I mean, I wouldn't say like I'm mad at that. Like, you know, you got to do what's best for your family and make your money and make your, you know what I'm saying, do what's best for you. But I feel like as far as like connecting to South Carolina, I feel like the people who are higher up probably could be doing more. I mean, I'm not in that situation yet.
You saying the folks that's from here? from the folks that's from South Carolina could be doing more.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Cause I feel like at the end of the day, like they could say like, you know, that's their situation or whatever that may be. But you know what I'm saying? Like the whole point of making it to the top in a sense is like
To
not have to give that up. Like,
Yeah.
to not have to make that choice to like I'm gonna put on somebody from Canada when I'm from South Carolina and I know it's thousands of talents in South Carolina.
But basically what you were saying though, when you was talking a few minutes ago, just like it's a lot of red tape. That's what I took away from that. It's a lot of red tape to run through with this music. So that segues into the conversation also that we was talking about. It's just like, bruh, like where you feel like hip hop at right now as far as the state of it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Personally, I feel like albums, like I feel like people not really trying to make their albums top to bottom no more. Like I feel like people trying to like put like they might throw like 5 hits on it if it's like a 15 song album, and then they might be like, yeah, that's gonna be enough to like for my fans to say this was a good album by them. Like I feel like it's been a while since people done actually like been like I'm gonna put out 15 hits, and people like it's just gonna make the world explode. I feel like people just like I don't know. I feel like people kind of laying off on their music.
That sounds like mediocrity to me.
But I don't know, like maybe that's the key to longevity. I'm not like all the way in the industry, so I can't say for them like what they think. But for me, like I'm at the point where I'm not gonna put out no song that I don't think is a hit because like, you know, I gotta put out my best work. That's just how I feel.
I think that the best word that what you're saying though is that hunger. You know, and I thought that's why a lot of, in my opinion, when I see artists, you know what I'm saying, who go mainstream and get bigger and blow up, they lose. To me, it's like they lose a couple fans because like that hunger was driving them. Like you got that hunger now. You rapping for your kids right now.
You rapping too.
You know what I'm saying? You in your bag. You like I gotta get it. But at some point, like people get it and they like, okay, I got it now. What I'm rapping for? You know what I'm saying? I'm chilling. I'm gonna give y'all 5 songs. Y'all good on it. You know what I'm saying? So I get what you're saying.
So I think that kind of plays. Is that a culture change? Would you say? Because you was I saw you kind of over here was agreeing with the whole like I'm only trying to get 5 off on this album. It might be 12 songs, but as long as 5 hit, it was a win.
You saying culture change?
Like, does that play into the change of the hip hop culture that you seeing as far as like it coming away from the storytelling? We talked about storytelling on the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think people absolutely took music more seriously. Like when you watch like I don't know if y'all seen Wu-Tang Clan, but I feel like when they was putting that together, like they was dead ass. Like it wasn't no games going on. Like and it got to a point where they was all kind of BSing, but even when they was like making them songs like outside of the BS, like it was really like they was locked in like on every song. Like I don't feel like people be locked in every song no more.
And so how do that like? I feel like that partially. I don't know, bro. I just feel like a lot of times in a lot of different ways, bro. It's not being done for the right intentions no more.
No, I mean, yes, I agree with that. I think I see what you're saying. Since that some people rap, some people do anything. I guess
I just feel like if you know, like you're like, why not just put out 5 songs if you know them 5 going? You know what I'm saying? Like you put out EPs, you know.
Why not just put out an EP? Yeah, I feel you.
Man,
because it's not gonna make as much. People are not gonna pay as much for it.
Yeah.
You could really have a whole like tour off of 5 hard songs on the album, but you can't have a tour off of EP.
So do you think like, and you said the label, so that's and I don't know how much you know about this because you independent for the most part. So is that something that like is a requirement for albums? Like you got to have a certain amount of songs on there. Like is a certain amount on the track list?
I think it gotta be between 12 and 15 to be considered like an album.
Damn, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
It's at least 10 minimum, like something like that. It gotta be.
I'm gonna have to do some homework on that. I ain't about to do it right now, but I didn't know that though, for real. Okay.
Like I ain't never seen an album with 9 songs. Like I ain't seen the stat, but I have never seen like people will say it's an EP, people will say it's a mixtape, but I ain't never seen somebody like, nah, this is my album, and it got 9 songs.
I want to get to that what you said though. Y'all said some powerful things here. So I watched the interview with Lauryn Hill one time, right? And she said like, and you know Lauryn Hill only got that one album. It's a great album. She only got that one, right?
It's a good album, yeah.
But it's great.
It's a good album, yeah. I'm sorry, you want me to say great? It's a great album.
Yeah. So
Ain't no Lauryn Hill.
yeah, but for real. So what she was saying, I watched the interview where she said you have to have time to live, right? In your music, you got to have time to like, you got to live to really experience life to when you making music. And I'm curious to know, like, just for you, we've talked about since your music career started and things like that, but like even what like your life experience is up to you saying, I want to lay down something on a track, like I want to get into that bag. Like, how does that even come up? You know what I'm saying?
I think you gotta reword the question.
So basically,
How did you start rapping or singing or making music?
Okay, so basically, I know we was talking about this earlier off camera, like how Lil Baby, gonna taught Lil Baby to rap. It was kind of like, I wouldn't say similar situation, but it was something along those lines. Like, so I got 2 older cousins. Shout out to Long Way. Shout out to LJ the Deuce.
shout out to Long Way. Shout out to LJ.
Them boys was so I was like 11. Them boys like 3 years older than me and 7 years older than me. And then so I walked next door to their crib. So really I just went over there and I heard them boys like cooking up a track, and I was like, man, I feel like I could do this. Like, I guess I had been thinking about it, but I was always kind of young. I didn't want to speak up on it and like, you know, like be like trying to be like the little kid, like messing with them, because they like 14, 15,
Yeah,
and
like,
20.
get on out of
I'm
here.
like, you know,
Get out of here.
I ain't trying to be in the way, but I went in the living room. I had like a little notepad. It took me probably like 3 hours to write that verse. Man, I was so proud of that verse. We put it on Facebook. All my friends was like, y'all got damn rapping. Y'all got it, man. But I was like 11 years old. Yeah, that's when I started.
And from that, is that the point where you was like, this is something I'm good at, I should do this, or did that come later?
Absolutely later.
Later. So when did that point happen? Where you was like, I'm good at this?
I don't know, like in high school, like I guess I thought that I was good at it because I was really the only one doing it. Like in high school, people would talk to me about it, but it wasn't like really translating to nothing like to nothing major. But it was like people in the city was like, all right, you can rap a little bit, you know, whatever. Like, but I guess they didn't really take me seriously. They was just like, you know, he could rap. Like I rapped at the school pep rally one time. Like it was real turn, but it was still just like, you know, he just rapped. So I feel like when I really figured out I was good at it, probably was pandemic or right after pandemic. Like I started going to the studio at like 16 and stuff like that, so I was taking it seriously myself, but I felt like people was reacting to it how I wanted them to in 2020 and like 2021 majorly. Like them 2 years was probably like big, and now it's just like really expanding. The biggest part was probably like TikTok. When I blew up on TikTok off the Favorite Song by Tusi. Y'all go check that out if y'all ain't seen that. Favorite Song by Tusi. Open verse on TikTok. I got 1 million views on that, so y'all check that out.
Yeah.
But
it's like that. Damn.
But like yeah, that. that's really when I was like, okay, like it's some people in the whole world that like think I'm hard, like think I'm good at this. So that was really like major. But like South Carolina buzz like 2020, 2021. Yeah. Like worldwide 2023, like this year.
Man, bruh, I want to get into some of the subtopic of this conversation too, bruh, which kind of plays into some of the hard stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like the rap game, unfortunately, whether you look at it or whether you want to agree to it or not, the last 3 years it's probably been one of the dangerous professions to have. You know what I'm saying? People been getting popped left and right. You know what I'm saying? It started pandemic, the whole Vine, Quando situation. You done had so many other names that you can list off since then. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, for you personally, has that been your reality? I know, like, you talk about the song on the intro, or for our main intro song, which is the outro for yours, but I think it was one lyric. He was like, "I was trying to make a move. I almost didn't make it home." Like how real has that kind of reality been for you in the rap game?
So
Is that rap game or is that life?
Life game that kind of I guess is attached to rap in this scenario.
yeah, I won't go too far into details on my own situation, but it's definitely done been some circumstances where like I kind of feared for my life in a sense, like not necessarily as a result of being a rapper. I don't know if y'all go, but it may have been like a result of being a black person, you know, something like that. But maybe kind of more of the rapper image or how I was dressed as a rapper. Maybe that was kind of, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I think just like keeping the right people around you, making sure that you know, watching your back at all times, really got to play into account. Even if you're an R&B singer, because what happened to P&B Rock, like you really just got to be on all 10, like just based on how you dress sometimes. So like I feel like that may be a whole nother story, but like I feel like that's real too.
Yeah.
So you said just now, right? Like your image and it's being a rapper and things like that. And I don't know if you've seen the last episode, we talked about in there like rappers' influence on the black community. So where do you see yourself in terms of as a role model, as a rapper, as far as how you want to be viewed by, you know, younger generations and things like that? How do you see your role in all of that?
I've never been asked this question.
Hey,
You got time to think on it, you can clip it,
I'm
you
about to
know?
say I ain't got nowhere else to be tonight. I'm telling you.
But I feel like in my personal life, well, I guess like a lot of my fans probably wouldn't know this, but like on my Instagram, I think I portray enough of like the person that I am and like the stuff that I'm for. Like I graduated college, so I feel like that in itself is a powerful accomplishment for like a rapper to have, like for somebody that's kind of like. So I would always probably have that portrayed, so people would always look at that probably like, you know, like he's educated, like this is something that people do, like even people who still pursuing dreams or maybe rapping or acting and stuff, they still may get a degree as their like backup plan, like, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's a positive impact that I would have as a role model, like, and not even that, like some of the stuff in my music, like, you know what I'm saying, like I feel like some of it is good messaging. And I feel like, you know, some of that can kind of resonate with the youth and kind of create more of a positive impact.
Would you say as people that's doing the opposite though?
I feel like people are more so a victim of their environment, more so as like listen to music. Cause like I know a lot of white kids that listen to YoungBoy, but they not gonna act on it because of their situation. Like I feel like it's more so about like absent fathers versus like rappers. Like if your pops there and you a young black kid, like I feel like even if you listen to YoungBoy with your pops, like you and your pops going to get lunch or something, like you feel me, you got your pops, like I feel like it's more like single mothers, your situation and where you come from versus like, cause you ain't gotta be a rapper or want to be a rapper to be a shooter, like, you know what I'm saying, like that's really you just want to be a shooter, like that's like you feel like you know, like all of us know people who could have went to college to play football or went to college to play football, came back home and was a shooter, or dropped out of high school and was a shooter.
Yeah.
Like that's just how life go. Like they didn't want to be a rapper, they was gonna play football, play basketball, and they still a shooter. Like, so I feel like that's really more so environment versus like.
I think that brings up an interesting point too. Like that was one thing a surface that we didn't really get into, is the environment that a lot of the demographics cater to, and like how that plays into the decision making. And so what I mean, let me not say demographics cater to. That's probably not the best way to put it. What I'm saying is, everybody that listen to this ain't living in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
Straight up. You know what I'm saying? Some people's neighborhoods gonna be gated, and some of them gonna be guarded by pit bulls. However you want to take that, however you want to take it. But I'm just saying, I didn't really think about that. Like, you know, you talk about the way people who consume it or whatever the case may be, or even who's like packaging it up to be pushed out. What about the context of who is the consumer? Like, where are you when you, or what kind of space in life are you in that, you know?
What's the question?
I guess what I'm saying is like you might have already been thinking about being on some shooter, you know what I'm saying? But if that was already in your mind and that seed was already planted, you hear another motherfucker talking about it's like, oh well,
Like, cause I see it as like you may be a 5-year-old and you may like Young Jock or somebody, you may like Gucci Mane, you may be listening to that, but you don't know what he actually saying.
You kind of young to know about Young
I was about
Jock.
to say I wasn't gonna say it.
I'm young, but you young to know about Young Jock.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
Bro. But I'm just saying, like, you may listen to them, like you may have listened to them growing up, and you may have liked the vibe of the song. You may have even known the words, but at 5 years old, you don't really know what they saying. But if you see your uncle selling dope like right in front of you, you absolutely know what he's doing. Like, so that's what they're talking about, and that's what he's seeing. That's what you're seeing him do. But if you a 5-year-old and you got your pops and your pops playing that in the car and you just seeing him going to work every day, you're gonna be like, this a hard song. But you not like, this ain't what I see. This just like what the rapper do. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I love that perspective.
I love the victim of the environment versus a victim of the music. I like that.
Bruh, like I don't know. That just kind of, hey, hold on, you
answered it.
You stumped my black ass.
Yeah, man, really answered it.
Hold on.
It really answered.
Hey. No, I take it, but okay. So that being said, what's the responsibility then for how can I put this? I guess as we move into this space where everybody can kind of control they content, you know, whether it's you getting somebody, you can hire your own people to shoot your videos now. We doing a podcast and we talking about our stuff. This is gonna go to see 100 thousand people gonna view it. Like that was never really a thing for like the last. It's been less of a thing for less time than it's been a thing for, you know what I'm talking about. So how do you kind of control it? What's kind of your thought process going into like, okay, we about to drop some teasers, we about to drop, you know, cover art, we about to drop whatever. Like where's your how are you trying to appeal to the culture, to your environment, to whoever you want to buy your stuff?
So I'm really trying to tell my story, but I'm also trying to tell my story in a way that's relatable and also in a way that's like melodic and represents my actual sound, how I want to sound, how I want to like how I want to make my art, like how I want to paint my picture. And I think like a big thing for me is like trying to elevate from what I did previously. Like I'm always trying to expand and trying to make sure I get more to like a complete sound. Like I feel like I found my voice, I found where I want to go, but I'm always trying to get to a complete sound. I don't want to steal somebody's quote, but I did see somebody say something like, it may take an artist like a month to paint a picture or something like that. And I feel that like wholeheartedly, because like I record my songs in my crib like by myself like first, and so I can really like dive into the song. I may write that song for like a month. I may write that song for a week. I may write that song for a year, and then I may take it to the studio and be like, okay, I got this song exactly how I want it. Like, and so I feel like that's a big part of the creative process and like perfecting my craft and also like perfecting my sound.
I like one thing you said there that we have completely ignored since been talking to him. You said at this point, I'm not even asking questions for the podcast. I'm really just really curious. You said like you taking your time in these things, right? Like, and you know you're writing it for yourself and all these things. And we've asked you a lot of times now in different ways, like your music in relation to how what it does for other people, whether that's younger kids or the culture and things like that. But like your music and what it does for you. You know what I'm saying? Like how does that shape your life? Like in a sense of whether it's something like you pour into that. That's your life. So like what does it do for you?
So I feel like it's really about the grind for me. Like people say it's about the journey. So I feel like my journey like been real special to me. It's like I played basketball, I played football. I was decent, but I was not league material. But I felt like this was my league. Like even when I was like playing basketball, trying to actually go to the league, I felt like this was my league. Like I ain't never had nothing else. Like even when I went to college, like I was like, you know, I'm just in college to really further my music career, to meet people, you know, make connections, like in that sort of way. Like So I feel like that's all, like, since I was 11 or however, I feel like that's always been my goal. Like, I ain't really got nothing else to chase. Like, this is my dream. Like, my music is me, and I'm my music type.
Yeah, it's like when Kobe was saying, like, ain't no plan B.
I felt-
That's what he said. Ain't
and
no
like,
plan B
like-
for you.
Like, bro, I genuinely feel that. I genuinely feel that in your, like, in the music, though.
Like, when I'm going to work, like, I'm going to work to pay for my music. Like, whatever I'm doing to make money at that time is going to my music. Like, I'm buying clothes, but, like, I'm buying clothes for my image and how I look for my music. Like, everything I'm doing is for my music. Like, I may go broke on music, and I'm gonna do it again. Like, I don't care. Like,
Bro, I love that. Project on the way?
Give me a month or two.
You want to shed some more insight onto that, sir? You're under oath.
Yeah, I got a new project on the way. We're working on it. I ain't gonna, I put a lot of songs together before I even, like, start getting down to the final numbers. It's gonna be between 8 and 12 songs, but before I get down to those 8 and 12, I'm gonna make way more than that and, like, get a theme and, do everything. So we making them right now, but it won't take me long.
Bro, how long is the studio session?
It depends. Cause like, I make my songs prior, I work on my songs previously so I can take my time on them at the crib. I got a little mic set up. I really dive into the songs there so I can take my time and I don't gotta be rushed in the studio. I may freestyle something in the studio because that natural sometimes is, that'll sometimes make a hit in itself, but some of those songs I really want to take my time on. And I feel like, so studio sessions really depend. If I'm freestyling something, it's gonna take me probably an hour and a half to record a song. If I got a song that I've been working on for a minute, it's gonna take me 10 minutes. So studio session could be 3 hours and I could do 7 songs, or it could be 3 hours and I could do 3 songs. It really depends.
Can we?
So we've been talking about like your career, right? So I want to, like, if we talk about being influencers, right? We're talking about you playing these sports. We're talking about you going to school, getting a degree, and still knowing music was your passion, right? So for people, no matter what point of life they're at, whether they're young, whether they're in college, no matter, like, what's a tip of advice that you, somebody who's been there, is going to give them for wanting to pursue that passion and wanting to have that grind and that hustle?
That's a great question. So, I would say I've been making music since I was 11, and probably up to 2020. Well, up to 2023, I would say I had probably like 350,000 like total streams, like views and stuff like that. Like, so in 12 years, I had 350,000. I had 350,000 streams, which may seem like a lot, like, but in context, like, that is not a lot for it to be. Over the course of 12 years, that's not a long time.
Okay.
But on TikTok, like, when I got on TikTok, I've been on TikTok probably, like, not since it dropped, because I was one of those people who was like, TikTok weird, like, I'm not gonna get on TikTok, like, it's lame, whatever. But I really wish I would have got on TikTok earlier, because, like, I was posting on TikTok, and it wasn't really doing much for me, but I was just posting on TikTok because, I had enough, like, followers, like, probably like 300-400, and I felt like that was enough to, be posting or something. So, but like, I posted something like favorite song Tusi, open verse, and then in the course of, like, I posted it, and then in the course of a night, I got like 100,000 views, and then I reposted it, and then in the course of, like, what was that, like 2 weeks, I got 1 million views. So, like, I had 350,000 like total people. Well, not even total people, because people listen multiple times. So I had 350,000 like total of all the people.
That's amazing.
That was listening to me. And then, like, in the span of probably like 2 weeks, like, it was like 1.5 million people who had like recognized me and saw me for like being good at music. So I say all that to say, like, after 12 years, I had a little bit of success, and I could have gave up after 10 years or something and been like, nah, like, it's taking too long, like, I'm going broke, like, I'm spending all my money, I'm tweaking, like, anything like that. But, like, then, like, waiting all that time and staying consistent with it, like, continuing to grind, like, I got 1 million people who seen me and validated this, so now I can keep going, like, and make more, like, just take advantage of that and like keep building on that and know to like not keep going because like I'm just that close. Like it literally take 5 minutes. Like I made that video probably in like 25 minutes and it got me like 1,000,005, like a 1,000,000.5 like views. So like
Yeah.
I think that go back into what you was saying about both of y'all was talking about like the plan A and the mom
Yeah.
mentality, bro.
facts.
Like I think that's something that's so far beyond all of our years that's sitting in here because we talk about it a lot, just in personal conversations. But it's the concept of the microwave versus the stove. Our generation it grew up on the microwave, so that being the case, bro, you expect to be able to kind of make a full meal in 2 minutes. Same thing kind of apply to life. You know, we expect like, oh, we want to go do this, and it's like this entitlement that associates with like there's no timeline or there's not no long period of time that goes into a body of work. But you sitting here telling me, which is reassuring because I like a lot of times I worry even for people our age if that's gonna be an issue. But it's just like, bro, like you got to take anything that's gonna be sustainable. They take time. It take long. It take time and it take hard work.
And usually, like when it come quick, it don't last long. Like that's the thing about it. Like when it be quick and you was like you did it, but you wasn't prepared for it. Like you be like, it's gone.
That's real.
And how do you? I think that like that is what's gonna separate you in the long run from a lot of people that's trying to just kind of do it because it's hot right now. Because you see the chess game. You see the chess game, and I think that like that's even more so relevant in the way your sound is. You listen to that unreleased joint. You know what I'm talking about? And that your reaction was what it was for a reason, but that you don't get that kind of.
I want to clarify. That was my first listen through. I had already heard it twice before, and I still had that reaction on the third time.
Bruh.
That shit hard.
You just pulling a little bit, didn't you?
That was a chair.
My fault. All right.
Ruin the clip.
Hey, but you can't. Well, I guess what I'm saying is you can't industry plant that type of delivery. You can't industry plant that type of quality, but that type of quality don't come quick either. And I think that's such a testament to you and like how much dedication you're willing to put into it, bro. Like, how did you grasp that concept so early? Like a lot of people don't.
I don't know, man. I just love the grind. Like, I really love the grind. And I don't watch it. Like, I pay attention to everything. Like, when I started rapping when I was 11, my older cousin was rapping, but nobody else was rapping. Like, at that point, nobody was rapping. So to see now everybody raps, like, with technology, everything like that, everybody raps. So it's harder. So, like, it's going to be people who, like, it's too many people now. Like, people getting scared. Like, for me, like, that just made me feel like I'm more prepared. Like if you just started, and even if you go crazy with it, you know, you do what you do. Like you may not know how to handle it. Like you may sign a bad deal, you may do this, you may do that because you weren't ready for it. And didn't know where their money was coming from. Like
that's
so
no way.
it's just like I'm feeling like if you blowing up and you don't really have experience, like that might be worse than good. Like versus you waiting and actually knowing what's going on and then getting into it and then like you ready, like you know your value at that point. Right now, if I go to a leverage, as good as I am, as much confidence as I got in myself, I don't got no leverage. But if I get some leverage, I know how to handle that leverage. Like
That's what Pops talking about.
That's you, my yeah.
That's what Pops was saying.
If you want to make demands, you got to be in demand.
Yeah.
Tell, bruh, look in that damn camera and talk about the importance of like taking your, not taking your lumps per se, but it's all about timing. You gotta wait till you're in position to kind of pop. Cause bruh, would you say that like a lot of people come into stuff thinking like, oh well, you gotta give me, or you got like I should have, like bruh. I feel like that's a lot of the issue that like you know folks be having nowadays. And
look at them like, who the f*** are you?
Right, what have you done for me?
Yeah, it's really big for like, for example, like the label at the end of the day, the label has to benefit. Like they trying to make money off of you just as much as you trying to use them to continue to expand. Like they gotta make their bread too. So if you come to them with no fan base, like even if you like, they may get you because you look cool and they may turn you into an industry plant, which is something totally different. But if you come to them and you don't have no fans and you're just regular, like, hey, I make music, you don't have any leverage, like they're not gonna sign you. But if you have a bunch of fans, like you already making a bunch of money and you just may need some guidance, or you want them to have their people so you can get more connections and features and stuff, that's a totally different thing. But like you gotta have leverage to negotiate, hey, let me get some of my royalties, let me keep the majority of my royalties, versus like, nah, they gonna keep all my royalties because I'm a nobody and they making me. Like, if you somebody, like, then you can be like, okay, I'm gonna get my royalties, like, and y'all gonna get y'all this, and y'all can do this, and this how we both gonna benefit, versus like them getting most of the benefits because they're making you the star.
Take that. No, I'm just playing. no, that's real, bro. For real. And that's yeah. I mean, what you? I don't want to cut you off. You got any more for him? Put a bowl in it if you know.
I'm sure I do, but no, it's fine. I'm drunk.
I want to wrap up with this question then. Mm-hmm. Big part of a working relationship is the second word. You know what I'm saying? You have to have a good camaraderie, good rapport between people. Me and him on this pod, you know, I lean on him for the areas that I'm not strong in, and vice versa. This is like your first leap of faith in the game. You know what I'm saying? For all intents and purposes. On the flip side of that, correct me if I'm wrong, you ain't had no manager before. So y'all both kind of taking the chance on each other for all intents and purposes. I want to hear why it was so easy for you to take that chance.
So I was eating somewhere in Colombia with my brother. Like, we was just eating lunch. Like, I was probably like a junior in college, something like that. But I was just eating with my brother. We was having lunch, and I was walking out the restaurant, and then this dude walked up to me. I won't say his name, but you know, he walked up to me and he was like, I want to manage you. And I was like, word? He was like, you son dead, right? I was like, and then he was just telling me about himself. And stuff like that. So I followed him on Instagram, like, and then so we was chatting up, we was chopping it up and everything like that. And so to make a long story short, I had already knew that like Sean was doing certain stuff like in the music industry, so I was like, I know Sean, like we related because of Kappa Alpha Psi, so like we got this in common. So I was like, you know, let me see if Sean want to manage, because he already in the, and I ain't want to like, it was really like I ain't want to take that leap of faith with a complete stranger without having somebody also that I know.
That
so,
relationship
like,
was important.
Yeah. So since the dude had came up to me and he gave me the idea, like I felt that it was only right that I give him a chance as well. So we started as kind of like a trio. Like he was helping us out with the management for the most part, like, and he still sometimes hit me up, you know what I'm saying, do what he do, but it's just not as heavy as it was before. But like that's what really made me, you know, as Sean, is so that I had somebody also that I knew, because the other dude was really smart as well. So like he had stuff and he knew stuff that like maybe me or Sean didn't know. So we picked that up from him and used him for that, because I mean he did have skill set and he was the first person to like bring that to my attention.
Yeah, he was tough.
Just say shout out to Cuz, for sure. You know what I'm saying?
I
Shout out to Cuz.
He came up to me, but he actually like knew his homework, so he wasn't just like,
bruh,
yeah.
I respect that too. Like most people wouldn't have still, you know, came back and be like, just cause off the screen for you hit me first, I'm still double back and be like, hey, let's do a trio. You know, even though you kind of saw it on the front end, you was like, like that take a different cloth to be cut from. So that's a salute to you for real.
Man, a stranger will help you more than somebody you know. Like usually, like 9 times out of 10. Like, and it's crazy that the world like that. But like when I went to New York, like when I traveled places, like it seemed like people who don't know me may accept my music more. May even post me more on Instagram, reshare my stuff more than people that I know, like, and grew up with. So like I feel like that support can come from anywhere. So when it's somebody who want to lock in with you, if they genuine about it, like, and they got something that they can benefit you and you can benefit them, and it's mutual, like, you might as well lock in, like, you know what I'm saying? So y'all both can grow.
That's real.
Bruh.
For sure.
So much game today, man. So much game today, bruh. And I knew you was gonna be a great artist. And I'm just blessed that it was the first artist, but I knew he was gonna be a great artist to have on here.
was trying to make a move and I almost ain't make it home. Lately shit I'm going through done changed my whole perspective. Like if you try to